Well, ladies and gentlemen, you may or may not be aware of this, but this past Wednesday, CNN anchor Don Lemon made the claim that Jesus Christ was not perfect. Yes, you heard me correctly. He claimed that Jesus Christ was not perfect, and that prompted a very, shall we say, visceral response from Pastor Robert Jeffress of First Baptist Church of Dallas, Texas. In fact, Dr. Jeffress said, and I quote, "That makes him," referring to Don Lemon, "and his network, CNN, the uncontested champions of fake news." Well, here's what prompted that response, because Don Lemon went on and said this: Jesus Christ, if that's who you believe in, admittedly was not perfect when he was here on this earth. In fact, Don Lemon made that comment to his colleague Chris Cuomo during Don Lemon's show this past Wednesday evening. He went on and said this: "So why are we deifying the founders of this country, many of whom owned slaves?" Well, again, Dr. Jeffress said this further comment. He said Don Lemon's comments are, first of all, heretical, and it contradicts the most basic tenet of the Christian faith and demonstrates how tone deaf the left is to faith issues. Our founding fathers, like all of us, were imperfect human beings, Dr. Jeffress added, but Jesus Christ was different than any other man that lived, and as the founder of our faith, he had to be perfect, end quote. Well, of course, this is not the first time CNN has aired very anti-religious rhetoric. Do you remember Chris Cuomo made this statement to his viewers at the end of last week? He said, and I quote, "If you believe in one another, and if you do the right thing for yourself and your community, things will get better in this country. You do not need help from above. The solution is within us." And then one final example. Last month, far-left activist Shaun King called for all images depicting Jesus as a, quote, white European to be torn down because they're a form of, in his words, white supremacy and racist propaganda. Wow. Gary, I want to go to you first. We've witnessed, I think, in the last 4 months, a cataclysmic thing take place. It seems as if the left, the Marxists, the communists, those that sympathize with those beliefs, those belief systems, have taken off their mask. And I'm using that pun intended. In other words, there's no semblance any longer of what they are up to and what they're about and what they're trying to declare. And as most Americans have been asked either to mask up or they've been mandated to mask up, the media has totally removed its mask and has declared its opposition to all that's true, to all that's even sensible, and in many situations to all that's even American. As far as our historic Christian faith is concerned, I want to ask you, Gary, why, in your opinion, are they doing this now so brazenly?
I will answer that question, but let me say, first of all, I think we need to pray for Chris Cuomo, because that statement that he made that you don't need help from above is sickening. That's not the first time he has said that during this COVID-19 virus situation. We need to pray for him. We need to pray that he comes to Christ. And I'll just stop right there. But to answer your question as to why they are doing this right now is, let me just cut to the chase and say two things. Number one, they don't like America. And number two, they hate Jesus Christ. And I think when you put those two things together, you can see why it is that the leftist, Marxist, communists are doing everything that they can to take our nation away from the values that has made it great. They don't like America, and they hate Jesus Christ.